Wait a minute. Did Cameron seriously just drop a bombshell about Jim Jones and Chrissy Lamkin in court? You heard it correctly. In a stunning revelation, Cameron just completely turned everything you thought you knew about them on its head. Jim Jones, the notorious rapper with a past full of questionable actions, is now staring down some major repercussions. It all boils down to a shocking revelation about Jim Jones's connection with Chrissy Lamkin, a revelation that could unravel everything as we know it. So, what really happened inside that courtroom? Let's just say it wasn't pretty. Cameron didn't merely share a bit of gossip. He detonated a bombshell that has the potential to derail careers. Jim Jones, a name long associated with controversy, is now at the center of something much bigger. But now, Chrissy Lamkin finds herself in the crosshairs as well. She's right in the thick of this chaos. Is this the moment that could finally bring their careers crashing down? Or will they somehow wiggle their way out of it like they've done before? Stay tuned, because what Cameron revealed next will leave you speechless. Believe me, this is on a whole different scale than anything you've heard before. The hip-hop world has always been a playground for drama, betrayal, and tangled relationships. But what Cameron unleashed in that courtroom? It's a game changer. Let's break it down. Jim Jones, the rapper known for his ties to the streets, is at the center of it all. Jim Jones, the rapper who's built his entire persona around that tough street life, is now facing intense scrutiny, leaving everyone stunned. Why the shock? Because Cameron just laid everything bare. The courtroom was charged with energy, almost electric. As Cameron stepped onto the stand, you could feel the whispers spreading, the air thick with tension between these two former Dipset comrades. For those who might have missed the details, let's take a quick step back. Jim Jones and Cameron were once inseparable, the ultimate power duo in the rap world. But as with any solid partnership, there's always a tipping point. And that's where Chrissy Lamkin enters the picture. Now, don't get it wrong, Chrissy isn't just Jim Jones's significant other. She's playing a much bigger role in this unfolding drama. She's been embroiled in multiple controversies, her name intertwined with drama from the very start. But when Cameron dropped that bombshell in court, it wasn't just a blow to Jim Jones. It was about unraveling a tangled web of lies and deception that's been quietly festering behind the scenes. For years, rumors have swirled about Chrissy Lamkin's role in Jim Jones's affairs. Was she merely the supportive girlfriend? Or was there something far more sinister happening behind the scenes? Cameron just dropped the truth in the most explosive way imaginable. And the allegations? They're far more shocking than anyone could have ever anticipated. Before diving into the chaos, let's take a moment to understand the background of this madness. Jim Jones has a well-earned reputation. His career has been fueled by controversy and street credibility. After all, you don't rise to the top by being squeaky clean and following the rules. And as for Chrissy Lamkin, she's been right there with him through it all, carving out her own presence in the spotlight. She's built her own legacy, largely thanks to her role on Love and Hip Hop, where her unwavering ride-or-die persona was constantly in the spotlight. But is that truly all there is to her story? Or is there something darker, something far more sinister, hiding beneath the surface? For years, they've presented themselves as the ultimate power couple. But now, cracks are starting to show. But what if this whole image has been nothing? More than a facade? That's the question Cameron is throwing into the mix now. And believe me, the truth that follows isn't pretty. So, let's set the scene. After years of keeping quiet, Cameron finally decided it was time to air out the dirty laundry. And when he stepped onto the stand, he didn't hold anything back. According to sources, anonymous sources, mind you, Cameron was more than ready to expose it all. He was ready to bring the heat, no doubt about it. The first bombshell, though, this one no one saw coming. Apparently, Cameron had gained access to Jim Jones's private messages with Chrissy Lamkin, and what he uncovered was absolutely staggering. In one of his statements, Cameron revealed that Chrissy had been heavily involved in some highly questionable activities during the height of it all, the kind of activities that could change everything. And when I say questionable, I mean things that could completely obliterate their public image. We're talking illegal activities, money laundering, covert meetings with some seriously shady figures, the works. But it's not just about what they did. No, what's truly jaw-dropping is how they've managed to keep it all hidden for so long. The extent of the cover-up is what's really scandalous. And Cameron's exposure is blowing the lid off everything. That's where Cameron just blew the whole thing wide open. Jim Jones has always been careful to keep his business dealings under wraps, building his fortune while maintaining a squeaky clean image in the public eye. But behind the scenes, there's been an entirely different world of shady dealings. And Cameron? Well, he says he's got the receipts to prove it. What Cameron revealed in that courtroom was enough to make even the most loyal fans start questioning everything they thought they knew about Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin. What he exposed is the kind of stuff that'll have you up at night, second-guessing it all. We're talking high-stakes money games, secret alliances, and betrayals that run deeper than anyone could have ever imagined. This isn't just gossip. It's a full-on unraveling of a carefully constructed empire. Chrissy Lampkin, the loyal girlfriend we all thought we knew, turns out to be far more entangled in Jim Jones's shady dealings than anyone could have guessed. The bombshells just keep dropping, and Cameron is far from finished. And let's not forget the image they've worked so hard to protect. For years, Jim and Chrissy have carefully curated this image of a loving, inseparable couple. But behind closed doors, the reality is something entirely different. What we've seen on the surface is just a facade, one that's now crumbling piece by piece as Cameron pulls back the curtain. They've always presented themselves as a united couple, right? But according to Cameron, it's all been nothing but a show. In reality, Chrissy Lampkin was the mastermind behind much of the drama. She's been pulling the strings behind the scenes, and Cameron just tore down the curtain to expose it all. So, what exactly did Cameron reveal in court? Was Chrissy the puppet master, orchestrating everything from the shadows? The answer is more shocking than you'd think. Was Chrissy the one pulling the strings all along, or was it Jim Jones orchestrating everything from the start? Whatever the truth may be, Cameron made it abundantly clear that their entire relationship was built on a fragile web of lies, manipulation, and shady deals. As the scandal started to unravel, the public was left in stunned disbelief. But how did Jim Jones react? Was he ready to push back, or was he caught off guard, scrambling to salvage what's left of his image? Was Chrissy the one pulling the strings all along, or was it Jim Jones orchestrating everything from the start? Whatever the truth may be, Cameron made it abundantly clear that their entire relationship was built on a fragile web of lies, manipulation, and shady deals. As the scandal started to unravel, the public was left in stunned disbelief. But how did Jim Jones react? Was he ready to push back, or was he caught off guard, scrambling to salvage what's left of his image? Truth that's starting to come to light. This scandal is just getting started, and in the next part, we'll dive into the shocking details of how this whole situation will unfold for Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin. Stay tuned, this is far from over. Now that we've set the stage and introduced the key players, it's time to break down the twists and turns of what's really going on behind the scenes. Are no strangers to drama, but what Cameron just revealed in that courtroom takes things to a whole new level. This isn't your typical celebrity rivalry. It's a full-blown spectacle that will make you question everything you thought you knew about these public figures. Jim Jones and Cameron have always had their share of tensions, but the secrets Cameron spilled are far deeper, darker, and more explosive than anyone could have anticipated. Buckle up, because this drama is just getting started. Jim Jones and Cameron may have had their differences over the years, but when Cameron stepped into that courtroom, the tension was unmistakable. This wasn't just two old friends airing out their grievances. This was about exposing years of manipulation, deception, and shady dealings that could potentially bring both Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin crashing down. And when I say shady, I mean full-blown criminal activity that's been lurking in the shadows all this time. The revelations Cameron unleashed are far beyond anything anyone expected. He was allegedly running something much darker behind the scenes. Cameron exposed that Jim Jones's ties to street culture weren't just about the music or the persona. No, they were intertwined with criminal activity that went far beyond what anyone had imagined. And the dirt Cameron's been sitting on? It's jaw-dropping. From shady business dealings to potential illegal operations, Cameron pulled back the curtain. What Cameron revealed is a side of Jim Jones that most people had no idea existed. This goes far beyond the music industry. What we're talking about is a tangled web of deception, power, and danger. Jim J. When you're living life in the spotlight, privacy becomes a myth. Every move is analyzed, dissected, and judged. So when a scandal erupts, no carefully crafted press release or half-hearted apology can undo the fallout. The consequences hit instantly and hard. Case in point, the Tunner Jim Jones exposed hashtag ignited a wildfire across social media. Within hours, timelines were swamped with memes, commentary, and digital outrage. Proof that once the internet grabs hold of a story, it doesn't let go easily. We've all witnessed the internet spectacle, the jokes, the hot takes, the tidal wave of public humiliation that crashes down when a celebrity slips up. But beyond the immediate headlines and viral memes lies a more lasting consequence: brand erosion. For Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin, this isn't just a PR nightmare. It's a threat to everything they've spent years cultivating. Jim, once revered as a pillar in the rap game, and Chrissy, beloved by many as the fiercely loyal partner from Love and Hip Hop, now face a reckoning that could unravel their carefully constructed public personas. And just like that, Cameron shattered the illusion. The personas Jim and Chrissy spent years perfecting. Him as the seasoned rapper, her as the unwavering partner from Love and Hip Hop, have been thrown into chaos. Fans who once championed them are now second-guessing every narrative they bought into. Even fellow artists and celebrities who once sang their praises or posed by their side are going quiet. The endorsements, the alliances, the admiration, it's all fading fast, replaced by silence and distance from an industry quick to disown when the tide turns. And now the ripple effect is in full swing. Some former allies aren't just going quiet, they're actively stepping away. You know how this plays out. Once a few big names start backing off, others follow suit, and suddenly the isolation snowballs. For Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin, the path to redemption is looking steeper by the day. Reputation rebuilds don't come easy in the court of public opinion, especially when shame turns into silence, and silence morphs into cultural exile. It's a brutal loop, one that threatens to push them further from relevance with every passing headline, hanging by a thread. In the reality TV universe, where image often trumps reality, public perception isn't just important, it's currency. And after Cameron's explosive court revelations, the spotlight has turned unforgivingly personal. Jim and Chrissy, once hailed as the unbreakable duo who weathered every storm side by side, now find that narrative unraveling. Their relationship, once seen as a symbol of loyalty and endurance, is being picked apart by the same audience that once celebrated it, leaving behind more questions than admiration. Their once admired bond is now under a microscope, and the cracks are beginning to show. Whispers of infidelity, manipulation, and financial tension are fueling a storm of speculation. Fans who once rooted for Jim and Chrissy are now asking the uncomfortable question, is this the breaking point? The reality is, some damage can't be undone. What was once private heartache is now a public spectacle, and in the world of celebrity, that kind of exposure leaves scars that rarely heal clean. Rebuilding from here won't just be hard, it might be impossible. Whether they manage to stay together or go their separate ways, one thing is undeniable. This scandal has rewritten the rules of their relationship. The trust, the stability, the united front. They're all shaken, and the road ahead looks anything but smooth. But the fallout doesn't stop at broken bonds and shifting public opinion. There's a storm brewing on the financial front too. Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin once basked in a life of luxury, designer labels, high-end real estate, and all the trappings of fame. Now, that lifestyle hangs in the balance, as the ripple effects of the scandal threaten not just their image, but their income continues to uncover damaging evidence. They once embodied the glamour of success, sealing real estate deals with ease, jet-setting in style, and flaunting the perks of celebrity status. But that glittering image is now crumbling, under the weight of serious allegations. Thanks to Cameron's courtroom revelations, accusations of money laundering and other illicit dealings have triggered a cascade of consequences. Bank accounts are being frozen, assets seized, and their financial empire is teetering on the edge. If the federal probe keeps digging, and all signs suggest it will, bankruptcy might not just be a possibility, but an inevitability, could completely dismantle the lifestyle they've built. This isn't the kind of legal trouble you settle with a slap on the wrist. These are high-stakes charges that could come with crushing penalties. We're talking millions in fines, the seizure of high-value properties, and the collapse of business, ventures they've spent years cultivating. If it goes to trial and ends in conviction, Jim and Chrissy might find themselves liquidating everything, homes, investments, even personal possessions, just to stay afloat. What was once a life of opulence could quickly become a fight for financial survival, suggesting this could become one of the biggest celebrity scandals in recent memory. If convictions follow, the fallout won't just be financial, it'll be a public unraveling. Their homes, businesses, and prized luxury cars could all be on the chopping block. The glitz and glamour that once defined their brand would be replaced by court dates, headlines, and tabloid takedowns. What was once the Hollywood dream has morphed into a high-profile nightmare, unfolding in real time. And with Cameron's explosive testimony making front-page news, the media isn't just covering the story, they're feeding on it. The narrative is no longer in Jim and Chrissy's hands. Some outlets are already labeling it the scandal of the decade, while others are boldly predicting the downfall of Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin's entire careers. As the courtroom drama escalates, the media circus is only going to get louder, more invasive, and more relentless. Every court appearance, leaked document, or social media reaction will be magnified and dissected in real time. And the harsher the spotlight, the messier it gets, because in the world of scandal, exposure isn't just attention, it's fuel. The more headlines they make, the deeper they'll be buried in public scrutiny. Has lit the match, and now Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin are standing in the blaze. Every text message, financial record, and personal interaction is about to be dissected in the court of public opinion and the courtroom itself. This is no longer just a legal battle, it's a full-scale reckoning. So, what's next? Can they claw their way back from this and rebuild their reputations, careers, and relationship? Or are we witnessing the dramatic end to a story that once symbolized fame, loyalty, and hustle? Cameron's revelations didn't just shake the table, they flipped it. And whether this is a fall from grace or the beginning of redemption will depend on what unfolds in the days ahead.